Awesome. My name is Ania, and this is 15 and 15, where we ask 15 questions in 15 minutes. Joining us today is Stiffy.
What are you guys saying?
Thanks so much for joining us today.
No worries.
Are you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, first question. When did you start music, and how did you get into it?
I just got into it for fun, to be honest. My boy had a studio. I said, fuck it, let me just go. And I pulled up, and I liked it since.
Were you always into music?
I was always into the artistic style of music. When certain rappers say things in a certain way, I'm like, damn, how did he do that? I want to learn how to do that as well. And eventually, I'm still learning, you know? I'm not the perfect rapper yet, but I'm trying to learn on how to develop myself as a musician at the end of the day.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, how did you get your name? How did it come about?
Well, I can't really disclose that because it has to do with my government name.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, they kind of nicknamed me off my government name, and one person heard someone else call me that,
mm-hmm.
and kind of just spread throughout the whole city.
I like that. Incognito.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, if you're not doing music, what would you be doing? Do you have any other hobbies, interests?
That's a good question. Right now my freedom is very limited, so I don't really do much.
Busy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So keeping busy writing music, perhaps?
Yeah, pretty much.
And hopefully enjoying some time.
Yes,
downtime.
For sure.
That's good. Well, what is it like being an artist here, specifically in Ottawa?
You know what? I'm actually happy that I'm in Ottawa rather than Toronto or Montreal, because at the end of the day, it's so oversaturated over there. My music might have just gone lost in the crowd. As of here, it's every side of Ottawa has 2-3 main artists and maybe 5 to 10 somewhat known, locally known.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's a lot less saturation here in Ottawa, I believe that I can voice my music a lot better here than if I were in Toronto.
I really appreciate that, because I find that when we're in a smaller city, you can stand out a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's true for a lot of different areas too. It doesn't just have to be music, but sports or arts or anything like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
If an athlete makes it up to the league, everybody here knows about it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, another question. Hip hop breaks down into so many genres. How would you describe your particular style of music?
That's a funny question to ask, because I'm still trying to find my style of music. I still don't know it. I'm experimenting with EDM music. I've been experimenting with just rap in general. I do consider myself more of an Arab melodic type of rapper. But when it comes to my style and voice, I don't believe I've found it yet. I'm just trying a bunch of different things and seeing what works at the end of the day.
And I think musicians, that's it. And I think musicians, they kind of have an evolution. It's not that 1 year they have to stick to their particular genre. They can spread and learn how to do other work and even bring it into your music. So whenever you feel you're inspired by somebody else, you can always bring it into yours. You're always learning and growing. So in your opinion, how far has Ottawa music come? How does it compare next to Toronto?
Based from where I've started, when I started doing music in Ottawa, there was literally nobody that had a big name for themselves, except for maybe Belly or the people that have been doing it for a long time, like Swisha, shout out to that guy. But essentially, over the past few years, we've seen a lot of growth here in the city. Every part of the city has an artist that is pretty well known now, and it was like a dream come true for an Ottawa artist to even hit something as low as 1 million views. And now we've seen it multiple times throughout the past 2 years. Multiple artists in Ottawa have hit their first 1 million.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
That's so great. Good. Now, if you had to work with an artist right now in the industry, who would it be?
I'm Honcho. I fuck with that guy.
Why is that?
I feel like he's also on that Middle Eastern melodic rap, a melodic tone. You know what I mean? And I feel like maybe me and him could make some really good music. Who knows? Maybe in the future I'll make a track with him.
I bet you will.
Yes.
Do you find that Ottawa is supportive enough, or would you like to see a little bit more support come from the city?
I would like to see a little bit more support. What I've realized is people within my generation are not very supportive of Ottawa music. But then at the end of the day, I'm not really trying to impress the older generation, right? I'm trying to cater for the younger audience, and the younger audience is pretty supportive.
Okay.
Now, obviously, the older generation, they kind of reject the idea of people from Ottawa making music. But it doesn't matter what they think at the end of the day. We're catering to the younger audience. The money is with the younger people, right?
That's right. That's right. I think that maybe at some point we can accommodate more generations in the city as well.
For sure.
But you're right. The idea of getting the support from the younger generation really, really does help.
Yes, 100%.
It's been like that for so much music too, I find.
Yes.
So speaking about the generational gap, what other things do you have to say about that?
Like this is what I've realized personally. Like the music I grew up listening to is so different from even the music that I try to make, try to produce. Like I grew up listening to 50 Cent, Meek Mill, Tupac and Biggie. Obviously, my OGs would listen to that. Pretty much the mainstream artists, Jay-Z, Nas, and looking at the people that are just simply 2 years younger than me, their taste in music is so different. It's like that gap is just very sudden. They're listening to local Toronto music, the A Boogie generation, the Casper, K-Money generation, essentially. So the way I look at it is, if that's the music that's popping, then I gotta put myself in an uncomfortable position and eventually like that type of music, force myself to listen to that and like it in order for myself to become that type of rapper. Not that I'm trying to mimic their sound, but it helps me understand what people would like to listen to nowadays.
So would you say that the mainstream that we always used to listen to is sort of going away, and now it's the more underground is more popular?
100%, 1000%. Now it's less about sounding mainstream. If anything, most people I talk to, they like someone just because he's too mainstream. Of course, there's exceptions like Drake, Lil Durk, you know what I mean? But pretty much the underground is where you get people more connected to you, to your music, because it's like a subgenre of a genre, essentially. It's like there's rap and then there's melodic rap, and the people that like that type of music will cater towards you, and there'll be more of a loyal fan base. Like, I would never buy Meek Mill's merch, but then, you know what I mean? Then there's certain rappers that I really connect to, and I feel like I could relate to, that I would obviously love to support.
Right.
Because they're not very mainstream.
And I think the platforms that we listen to now are so different from when we were younger.
100%.
You can even, release a single with just out of your basement.
100%.
And it can be huge on Spotify or anything 100%. Like that. You don't even need
just
that mainstream.
Look at the Island Boys. These guys recorded off a pool,
Right.
Right next to a pool. These guys are blowing up for no reason.
Exactly.
Like anyone can blow up, and the music doesn't even have to sound good nowadays. Somebody out there is gonna like it, believe it or not. So you can have the shittiest music. Somebody out there is gonna listen to it and is gonna bop his head to it. It's gonna say, "Yeah, it's fire," when it could not be. But
that's a really, really good point. You no longer need the radio in your car to listen to music. You just need your phone.
Just put your music in front of the eyes that would like to see it.
Yeah, I like that. That's a really good quote. Okay, well now we are going to jump to the fun part. This is a two-part question. It's a fashion question. Do you prefer flashy or classic?
Classic. I'm a very simple-minded guy. In rap we talk about the drip, the chains, and all that. I wouldn't call myself a very humble guy, but I like to dress in a humble manner. I'm not too flashy. Every now and then I'll wear some jewelry, but
sure.
You know what I mean? The simple white tees, black tees, I'm that type of guy at the end of the day.
Okay.
You can never go wrong with those.
Very good. I agree. And are you a booties man or a titties man?
Wow. Right. Straight to the point, huh? That's a tough one.
There's no wrong answer.
There's no wrong answer, it's just awkward answering it. I like the booty.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Okay. Are you hot bars or melodic hip hop? And I think you explained a little bit about that
Yes.
before, but which one do you prefer?
I like to mix both of them, and I think
Okay.
that's where I kind of stand. I like to say hot bars in a melodic tone because it is possible. It's not like people with melodies don't have the sickest bars.
Sure.
Or don't have punchlines or metaphors. All of that still exists. People reject melodic because they think it's not lyrical. It's not. There's no meaning to it. But that's very false. Actually, there's a lot of melodic music out there that is very meaningful, or even has a ton of bars on it. Such as someone like Honcho, for example, which I think this guy is popping.
Okay. How does it feel to be a part of the All Capital album?
It feels nice to be part of a project that kind of puts a city together. You have people from the west, from the south, from the east, and I fuck with that. We don't see that often, and although people may not want to work with each other because they're from different parts of the city, projects like these kind of enforce it regardless, and they kind of show the city what we're actually about.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Now, tell us a bit about your song on the project.
That song was really fun to make. It was not really written prior to the studio. I've gone to the point where I hate writing before I go into the booth because I don't know how something's going to sound like till I actually go ahead and say it. So I'd rather just experiment while I'm inside the booth itself. Now, that project was very fun to write because it was just being myself and just experimenting with different melodies, with different ways of saying things, and I really enjoyed making that song.
Was it just you, or were you able to collaborate with others? Others would help you with the lyrics or the melody?
I definitely had some coaching in the track. Shout out to Jay Creole. He was there when I was recording it, and he would kind of say oh, it would be better if you say it like that, or say this instead. And I'm the type of guy that takes criticism very well, and I'm the type of guy where it's best idea wins. So I'm very open to hearing other people's opinions and what they think, where I would do better in certain areas. You know what I mean?
I think that's a really great mentality for all artists to have, to open up that door for criticism and knowing that people are just there to help you.
For sure, and sometimes you have to kind of go out of your comfort zone to do something really good, especially with music. So if I were to stay in my comfort zone, then that track would not have sounded the same. I definitely did step out of it.
Okay.
That's for sure. When you're comfortable, you don't grow, right?
Right. Other than this project, what are you working on at the moment, or do you have any future projects coming?
I'm working on my second mixtape. I've gotten a lot better since the first one, and I've developed a lot more as an artist, so I cannot wait to release that one. It's called Stiff Minded 2, just a sequel of the first mixtape, and it's gonna have double the tracks and double the features on it.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh, we're looking forward to that. And if you got a choice to start over and pick any city to start your music career, would you still choose Ottawa?
I would stay in Ottawa.
Yeah, why is that?
Yes, I love this city. Whether no matter how hateful it is, at the end of the day, I grew up here. I know everybody here, and again, the competition is very low here. We're literally at a point where the music in the city is going to peak. So why start elsewhere? There's nowhere else there's nowhere else where it has major potential like Ottawa. There's a lot of talent in the city. It's literally about to take off. I'm in the right place at the right time.
I couldn't agree more. And it's peaking. The music
sure.
is really, really good.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. This segment is called Hot Flashes, where you have to answer all these questions as quick as possible. Are you ready?
No.
Okay, well, try your best. Okay, we have 4 rappers. ALLCAPYOW, Chef G, French Montana, Meek Mill. One has to go. Who's going?
ALLCAPYOW.
Okay. Would you marry a 60-year-old millionaire woman or date a 20-year-old daughter of a billionaire?
20-year-old daughter of a billionaire.
Okay. Are you going to sign $1 million recording contract or stay independent but get posted for free on all the big blogs like World Star Hip Hops and Spotify, Apple Music, playlists, Rap Caviar, and stuff like that?
Sign the million, flip it other than music.
Okay. You're going to jail and sharing a cell with a cartel hitman, or you have a serial killer as a roommate.
Sully with a cartel.
Okay.
That's good connections.
Fair enough. Good. Well, thank you so very much for joining us today. Would you like to give a shout out to anybody or share
Shout out to the city. Shout out to ALLCAP. Shout out to everybody that contributed to the projects. Still fuck the ops, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for joining us as well. My name is Ania. Make sure you check All Capital album Love Us Now or Bandwagon Later, which will be available in stores and all streaming platforms on May 13th. My name is Ania Haynar. You can find me on Instagram at Ania Haynar. And make sure you follow ALLCAPYOW on Instagram as well. Thank you.